They'll run for the first time with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Levante David in on the tackle. Mahomes now to throw. And that nearly an interception here on this opening drive, but he gets a reprieve. It's third down. You think back, Charles, a year ago to Super Bowl 55. We were out in Tampa, and this Chiefs offense just never could get it going. Patrick Mahomes hobbled by that turf toe. Oh, the Buccaneer pressure too much. Down he goes. Shaquille Barrett able to get him down for a loss of 11, and it brings up fourth down. And this is reminiscent, Charles, of what we saw back in February. The Buccaneer pass rush creating problems for Mahomes.
And you think about how often he was on the run in that game. All the yards that he used up trying to get away from people. If he could have just gone downfield, he probably would have had 200 yards rushing in that game. They did sack him 3 times, forced him into 2 interceptions. The pressure was relentless. This is a really tough unit to move the ball against.
They'll score that a 36-yard punt. And the Buccaneer offense will be set up well as they take over. Here's Ronald Jones, first carry for the USC man. He'll get only a couple down since the Super Bowls in 2004 and 2005.
But when you analyze this team, you start with the front office. It's the same GM. The head coach and his staff essentially the same. They brought back all 22 starters from last year's Super Bowl championship team. And oh yeah, there's a certain Mr. Brady who won both of those titles in 2004, 2005 as the starting quarterback there. He's back as the quarterback here. I like their chances.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. An 18-yard touchdown. Breaks it off the right upright, and it's no good. And following the touchdown now, it's Bradley Pinion on to kick this one away. Pringle going to stay in the end zone, and this will come out to the 25. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And a 3-and-out on that first drive. We'll see if they can do better here.
They should have a better opportunity because the nerves should be settled now. That first series, everybody goes out a little extra. So now they get a chance to go back out and say, okay, now we're into the game. Let's go.
Mulligan then on that first drive.
Sometimes it absolutely serves that way. You get a second opportunity. Nothing big happened. But then again, you didn't commit any mistakes either. Off you go.
And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all. Counting down toward the midway point in quarter one. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. And he'll look underneath here for Edwards-Helaire. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. Well, CD, you get these two teams together, and you get them each at full strength, and you know you're going to see some passing. We expect to see the ball in the air a lot as this game goes on.
Yeah, they were number 1 and number 2 in the NFL passing yards last season. Kansas City 1, Tampa Bay 2, which means both defenses, well, they got their rest because going against these offenses, throwing the ball around and spreading the field, you're going to do a lot of running trying to cover.
On second down, a run with Edwards-Helaire. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. It'll be a loss of 1, and that's going to lead to a third down. Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
Here's Tommy Townsend now as he'll punt it away for the second time. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan.
Down, another shot for Jones. A beautiful fake. And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Bucs get the quick strike touchdown.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as close to it as you're going to get. Score, force a punt, score again.
And both drives were impressive. The opening drive was, that last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8-ball.
You got to make sure you just hold in there. Survive the early storm, relax a little bit, and try and get back to your game plan. It's way too early for panic.
He hits the big target for the two-point try. Defenses hate those guys, especially around the goal line.
It's hard to decide who you're going to put on him. Are you going to put a smaller corner on him? Are you going to put a safety who doesn't have maybe the same coverage skills? How about a linebacker? He may have the size, but he's not used to really covering in space. That's why the tight end gives you such a great advantage when you're throwing the football.
Pringle going to stay in the end zone, and this will come out to the 25. The KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. And his pass incomplete. But Charles, you think about these two teams and think about how long it's been since we've had the same two teams play in the Super Bowl back-to-back years. You have to go back to the Cowboys and Bills almost 30 years ago in the 90s. That's the only time that it's happened in the Super Bowl era. So I'm curious, what kind of chances do you see him as having a Kansas City, Tampa Bay Super Bowl in L.A. come February?
Well, you just pointed out how difficult it is for one team to get back to the Super Bowl, let alone the same two teams to play against each other. So the odds are against them, but when we tell either one of these teams they can't get back there, we think they're two of the best in the league. It shouldn't surprise us if it happens, but it is going against historical precedent. But remember last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they won the Super Bowl in their own stadium. The only time that's happened in Super Bowl history, too.
Now it's Mahomes again. That's caught. It's Demarcus Robinson. $14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Now Mahomes. He'll find his running back, Edwards-Helaire. And he'll get it down to the 47 here.
One of my old teammates called me the other day when he was watching the game. He's like, man, trying to watch an NFL game and trying to account for their passing game, that's difficult. And just when you think you get everything covered, here comes a back out of the backfield. And in this case, he picks up a first down.
So from Buccaneer territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 47. Throwing now is Mahomes. And his throw here is incomplete. This Bucs defense, do you remember, pretty stout last year, the number 6 overall unit in the NFL.
And I think that as the season wore on, and you pointed this out to me as well, you started to see some of their rookies begin to figure things out. And they played a little more like a top 2 or 3 defense down the stretch. And I would say that in the playoffs and through the Super Bowl, they were truly the best defense in the NFL.
Mahomes looking to throw on 3rd and 2. That's to his running back, Edwards-Helaire. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Gotta say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on third and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
First and 10, it's Edwards-Helaire with it. And he'll get a couple here down to the 22.
Not the kind of game that we'll go absolutely crazy for, but it's the kind of game that you need to have when you're running back in the NFL. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, with that low center of gravity and strength, he's going to get those tough, gritty yards for you when necessary.
Now here's Mahomes. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for third. Edwards-Helaire, they'll try to run for it. And he'll be stopped up at the line of scrimmage with a flag down. Let's check on the call. So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to...
Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. JPP cruising in for the sack that time. So on fourth down, Mahomes off. Harrison Butker on for the Chiefs field goal. From the right hash, this from 48. Butker's kick here is good. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. Jadon Mickens now from his end zone. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to Kansas City after this. They'll try and run for it with Jones. The Chiefs now going to use the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. So in their own territory, but they only need a few inches, so they're going to opt to go for this thing. We'll see. Maybe a surprise pass or run. What will they do? We're about to find out. Fourth down. They'll run it with Jones. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. He's been tough for this defense to handle, over 100 yards. You kind of knew that they were going to him on that play, didn't you?
They certainly did. That's one of those situations where you simply say, my best runner over my best blockers, let's go ahead and pick it up. And I don't care if they know it on the other side. Here we come, and they got it done.
And this will set them up nicely deep down in KC territory. A big play that time for Tampa Bay. The thing that hurt on that play, the missed tackle, that allowed the extra yardage.
It's a matchup game in the NFL. You get the guy that you want isolated, have him miss a tackle.
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones on his his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Buccaneers here finding a way to stretch their lead. So simple math here in the first half. They've had 3 drives offensively, and they have scored every time, and they've got the lead.
Well, whenever we talk about adjustments, we usually talk about an offense making adjustments, right? This is all about the defense. They've got to figure out some way, somehow to slow them down. Do they blitz a little bit more? Do they play more zone coverage? Right now, they don't know where to go because they're hitting them in every direction.
Extra point up and good by Suckup. So the drive there took 6 plays. And it's Ronald Jones that polishes it off with a touchdown run. Now Pinion with the kickoff honors following the touchdown. Pringle going to stay in the end zone, and this will come out to the 20. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
A Buccaneer sack. Jason Pierre-Paul able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon. Sacks a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Working from the gun. Under pressure, and they got to him again. Vita Vea breaking through to get the sack. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Buccaneers out on top.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome, everyone, to this abridged version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. This one is maybe not exactly in the bag yet, but there is definitely a big mountain to climb in this third quarter. The teams are already back out there, so let's not waste any time, as we'll turn it back over to Brandon Godden.
The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. They are just putting things together so well here, drive after drive. They really have captured.
They've taken momentum and pretty much not just given him a jersey, but a seat on the bench as well. Whatever do you need, you've got it, because the way they're stringing things together and creating that distance between them and their opponent, it's really hard to narrow that gap. And the other part is they're taking their spirit away from them, too.
And now they're just looking to add to that total. Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. That's caught by the big tight end, O.J. Howard. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
All quarterbacks are better when they have clean pockets to throw from, but you give one to Tom Brady, he'll decimate a defense. A really nice job there by his offensive line, giving him the protection to survey the field and make a nice, accurate throw.
Throwing on first down is Brady. And a first hookup with his all-pro tight end, Rob Gronkowski.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
On second down, it's Jones. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. 146 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Dance class, anyone? Did you see the steps between the quarterback and the running back on that counter play?
That's what you need for a good counter.
You have to have it because you're setting up your blocking. There's a timing element as well, but they have to marry up their step.
And in for the Buccaneers, touchdown. Tom Brady, a touchdown pass to O.J. Howard. And the Bucs are going to add on to their lead.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially in the red zone, short field. But now even more so because these tight ends aren't necessarily the tight ends of old. They're the rocked-up wide receivers who have a little bit more speed. Way harder to cover than before.
And now they'll empty the backfield here as they elect to go for two. Brady's going to look to throw. And he's got it. So the try for two successful. And that bumps their lead up even further.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for two, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. You know, size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get two. You got some pretty ticked-off folks on the other sideline now.
And that's why you have your hands team out there on the field. Those are the best guys ready to make that play.
And let's face it, it was executed well. It wasn't a bad kick. It wasn't anything like that. Just that the normal outcome actually came to play. Analytics will tell you it's a very low possibility of getting the ball for the team kicking it in an onside kick situation.
You're all about the numbers, aren't you?
All about the numbers, baby. It's a new game now.
They don't lie. On 1st and 10, here's Mahomes. They'll set up the screen to Edwards-Helaire. The first down screen pass, good for 5.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass, looked like it was coming together, looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
From the gun, it's Mahomes. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Mahomes to throw once more. Had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. So out comes the field goal team now for the second time here today. He hit his first one, this from 44 yards out now. Butker's kick here is good. And that'll put us within 3 scores as it becomes now a 23-point game. After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. That last drive, it was a good mix. Run, pass, defense on their toes.
And what really helps out in a big way is when you're doing the run-pass mix and everything's working, that means that they're guessing wrong every time on defense. They think you're going to pass when you run and vice versa. I would continue that, and when they finally draw a beat on you, maybe you mix it up a little bit, a little play action.
There he goes left side. The 20. 10. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones, 66 yards. And this Buccaneer offense, they're running away with this one. And that rushing touchdown, his fourth, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it. But he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Extra point try now for Succop. And they're not going to get the kick off in time. So that'll back him up 5. Now from 5 yards further back, this becomes a 37-yard extra point attempt. He missed one earlier, remember, but this time he gets it to go. So 2 plays on that scoring drive. That's how they drew it up. And the long run into the end zone, and what a run it was. Chiefs are going to make the recovery. The risk reward of the onside kick. When you don't get it, the risk comes out to play, and here they gave up great field position.
And that's the key to everything, because you're trying your best to press advantages when you have them, and field position leads you to that type of play calling, and whether you want to blitz or whether you want to throw the ball deep, those types of things. Now that they've given up that type of field position, the advantage is switched to their opponent.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. Final minute now of the third quarter.
We've seen this a few times in this game. That offensive line just, I don't know if you want to call it out physical, out tough, whatever you want to use.
And what people do when that is happening, when they're getting dominated that way, they spread things out a little bit, make it more of a space game, and allow your skill position players to make a few plays out in open field. Take away the physical element, gives you a chance.
Throwing is Mahomes on third. The tight end Kelsey has it over the middle. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. Jason Pierre-Paul give once again his third sack of the afternoon. Mahomes going to throw. It's Kelsey on the ground. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. To throw, it's Mahomes. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Another pass attempt, another incompletion. You figure defensively, you're in the fourth quarter here. You've held a team under 100 yards passing. You've done your job.
Especially in today's NFL, which is truly a pass-first league.
Now Mahomes got to have this one. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Boy, had it and dropped it. And the Buccaneers defense holds, and they get the football back. Set to begin their next possession. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your... And he's taken down. A Chiefs sack. It was Frank Clark that time who got in there to bring him down. Defensive end gets in there that time. They were in a 4-3. What's the responsibility, the ends versus the tackles there, Charles?
Well, most of the time when you talk about the ends, they're your pass rushers. They're the guys that you turn loose to try and get to the guy who's going to throw the football. The tackles, usually more of the run-stuffing variety. But the way this game is advanced, you're wanting a little bit of everything out of all of your guys. But let's just go ahead and break it down and make it simple. The guy who's the right defensive end versus a right-handed quarterback, that's the blind side. He's going after the quarterback. He's going to put him on the ground.
And that is incomplete. Fourth quarter, you've got the big lead. If you're coaching, Charles, you still taking shots like that downfield?
I'd be a little more concerned with running some clock and making sure you're taking care of the lead, because you keep flinging it around, you throw a couple of picks, you can put yourself in jeopardy.
Brady to throw for it on fourth down. Airing this one out for Evans. And got his man complete. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. A big connection on that one. 35 yards. And looking to put this game on ice in the fourth quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. My 242 yards rushing for him now, as he has been tremendous all day long. Now Jones. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. They'll try and run it in with Jones. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. So another score there, and often you talk about the three phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a fourth phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the fourth quarter. And they are 3 for 3 on two-point conversions as he is into the end zone for the score. So they elect to pass there on the two-point try. Sometimes could prove risky. There it worked out.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up that it can prove risky, because if you get it intercepted and they return it, that's 2 points for the defense, but not on that play.
Byron Pringle now to return it. KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
Mahomes now on first down. Gonna let one fly for Robinson. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Here's Mahomes to throw. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Looking to throw is Mahomes. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. And he missed it. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. They can now enjoy the final stages of this one. A very convincing win. I don't know what was said in the locker room, but whatever it was, it worked pretty well.
It certainly did, and it's probably a capper to everything that was said during the week because they go over every eventuality. I mean, you know how coaches are. They want to cover every minute detail, all the way up to how much time does it take to walk from the locker room to the field, you name it. And when it all comes together and results in a victory, everyone feels pretty good about that.
Well, the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed in this one for them.
Continuing to keep their foot on the gas, and it looks like they're just having fun out there. They're loose, they're free, and they're enjoying what the scoreboard looks like.
I'd have to say I agree with you totally. They're having a blast out there all game long. When they throw the football, they're picking up nice chunks of real estate, significant yardage on just about every throw that they make. And there's another one there, and they continue to have that fun that you just talked about.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.